It began on a quiet night above Metropolis. The moon hung low, the city lights shimmered below, and for once, there was peace. Superman hovered in the sky, listening to the heartbeat of the world. Steady, calm, alive. But then, something changed. A sudden silence, like the planet itself had stopped breathing. He looked toward the east, where clouds began to twist unnaturally. Static crackled through the air, not of lightning, but of thought. A whisper invaded his mind, faint yet powerful, echoing in a language not spoken aloud. "Help me." Superman froze. The voice wasn't human. It wasn't mechanical. It was alien, but not one he recognized from any world he'd known. For the first time in months, he felt something rare: fear. He sped toward the signal, cutting through the night sky like a red comet. His vision pierced clouds, buildings, even underground layers of steel, but what he found was beyond science. In the heart of Metropolis's abandoned industrial zone stood a figure cloaked in green and shadow. Tall, motionless, eyes glowing like twin embers. Superman landed softly, the ground trembling under his boots. "Who are you?" he asked. The figure stepped forward. The air shimmered around him as his form flickered, his body turning from translucent to solid. "I could ask the same of you, Kal-El of Krypton." Superman's heart skipped a beat. That name, his real name, wasn't known by many. The stranger's tone was calm, but his eyes were full of sorrow. "Your mind was open," the figure said. "I reached out, and you heard." Superman's gaze hardened. "Telepathy." The figure nodded once. "Yes, my name is John Johns. I come from Mars." The words hit like thunder. Mars, a civilization long believed barren and dead. Yet standing before him was a living being, tall, powerful, unmistakably alien. Superman's instincts told him to stay cautious. His mind, though, whispered curiosity. "What do you want here, John?" "I came because your world is in danger," the Martian said, his voice trembling with memory. "And because I've seen this before. I watched my own world burn." The silence that followed was heavy. Superman could see flashes in John's mind. Cities engulfed in flame, red skies turning black, millions of voices screaming. Superman clenched his fists. "If you came to help, you're welcome here. But why reach into my mind? Why not just speak to me directly?" John looked away. Because someone else was already listening. That's when Superman felt it. A faint echo, a presence brushing against his mind like invisible fingers. He turned sharply, scanning the area. "Who?" John didn't answer. Instead, his body began to shift again, fading into partial invisibility. "They've found me." Suddenly, the ground around them erupted in fire. A hidden drone burst from the shadows, unleashing a pulse of psychic interference. Superman moved instantly, blocking the blast with his body. The explosion tore through the factory walls, scattering molten steel. When the smoke cleared, John was gone. Superman floated above the ruins, his eyes glowing red, scanning every corner. "John!" he shouted. But the telepathic voice that answered wasn't his. "He is not what he seems, Kal-El." Superman gritted his teeth. "Who are you?" "We are the ones who know the truth about the Martian." The voice faded. Static. Then silence again. Superman rose higher into the night, the wind whipping around his cape. Whoever John Johns was, hero, spy, or ghost, he had come with a warning. But now someone else was playing a deeper game, and Superman was caught in the middle. He closed his eyes and listened once more to the world. But beneath the heartbeat of humanity, there was another rhythm. A whisper from the void between worlds. Something ancient. Something watching. The night of peace was over. And the war between two aliens, one of Krypton, one of Mars, had just begun. The next day, Metropolis looked as it always did. Alive, shining, unstoppable. But beneath the surface, tension pulsed like a hidden storm. Superman hovered above the city skyline, his eyes glowing faintly as he scanned for Martian Manhunter. There was no trace. No heat signature. No heartbeat. Almost as if Johns had never existed. And yet, Superman felt him. A presence brushing faintly at the edges of his consciousness. A flicker of thought there and gone. Then a whisper. You shouldn't have followed me. Superman spun around. There he was. John stood on a rooftop, arms folded, cape rippling in the morning wind. I didn't follow, Superman said. You disappeared after being attacked. I came to help. John's expression was unreadable. Help is not what your government wants. They fear me. Superman landed in front of him, eyes narrowing. They don't even know you exist. John tilted his head. Are you sure? Superman hesitated. In that instant, images flashed through his mind. A secret military project, encrypted files, psychic research, and one phrase that burned like fire. Project Firestorm. Martian Containment Protocol. Superman's voice hardened. What did you just do? I showed you the truth, John said calmly. They've been preparing for my arrival for years. Someone on Earth knew about Mars before I ever came. Superman tried to process it. Then why come to me? Why not the League? John's eyes flared with green fire. Because I don't trust them. The wind grew colder. Superman took a slow step forward. You can't expect me to trust you either, not after what you did to my mind. For a moment, John's calm cracked. His form flickered, revealing flashes of his true self, a creature both noble and haunting, his red eyes burning with pain. I didn't come here to fight you, Kal-El, John said softly. But if you stand in my way, I will not hold back. Superman's jaw tightened. If there's a threat to Earth, we deal with it together. But if you've come here bringing it, John moved first. In an instant, he vanished, reappearing behind Superman with a psychic blast that rippled through the air like invisible lightning. Superman staggered, clutching his head as John's voice echoed inside his skull. You're too loud, Kryptonian. Too open. Every thought you have burns like sunlight. Superman roared and swung, his fist slicing through the air. But John phased through him like smoke. The Martian struck again, a telepathic surge that filled Superman's mind with visions. Burning cities, Martians screaming, the last child of Mars reaching for him as everything turned to fire. Superman screamed back, his heat vision bursting outward in raw instinct. The beam sliced through the rooftop, scattering molten debris. John reappeared in front of him, his eyes glowing. You see it now, don't you? The fire. The end of my people. Superman steadied his breath. You're not my enemy, John. Whatever happened to your world, we can. But before he could finish, John lunged again. Not physically, but mentally. Superman's vision blurred. The city melted away. He was standing in red sand under a dying sky. Mars. John's voice echoed everywhere. Do you understand now why I cannot trust your kind? Superman looked around, feeling the heat, the sorrow, the crushing emptiness. He saw Martian soldiers standing tall one moment, then writhing in flames the next. The humans did this? Superman asked. No, John said, his voice trembling. We did. My people turned on each other. We destroyed ourselves. And I see the same shadow in your world now. Superman's tone softened. Then help me stop it. John's hand trembled. I can't. They already have a weapon, one designed to burn me alive. To burn us both. Before Superman could speak, the illusion shattered. They were back in Metropolis, but the air was thick with smoke and the sound of helicopters closing in. Superman turned upward. The sky was filled with drones. Dozens of them, each marked with the insignia of the DEO, the Department of Extranormal Operations. John's eyes widened. They found me. Then we fight together, Superman said. But John shook his head. No, you'll only draw more fire. He vanished again, a green blur streaking across the city. Superman tried to follow, but the drones unleashed solar flares, concentrated beams of red sunlight. His strength faltered. He crashed through a building, rolling to his feet, fury burning in his eyes. Above him, the lead drone broadcast a voice. Target confirmed. Martian Manhunter. Containment priority. Superman clenched his fists. You're not touching him. With one sonic boom, he shot upward, tearing through the drones like paper. Circuits exploded. Flames trailed behind him. And amid the chaos, John's telepathic voice returned. You shouldn't have done that, Kal-El. They'll come for you now too. Superman looked across the burning sky. Then let them. For the first time, he wasn't sure if he was saving a friend, or protecting the spark of a war that could consume the planet. As the last drone fell in flames, Superman hovered in the red dawn, staring at the rising sun. His cape whipped in the heat of the destruction below. And somewhere, far beneath the Earth's surface, John Johns knelt in a dark chamber, reaching out to a hidden device glowing faintly green. Forgive me, old friend, he whispered. It's the only way to save them. The world turned silent again. But this time, the silence wasn't peace. It was fear. Across Metropolis, reports flooded in of telepathic disturbances, blackouts, and strange visions haunting the minds of thousands. Every brain seemed to hum with the same hidden frequency. And Superman knew whose mind was behind it. He flew through the clouds, eyes blazing with fury and confusion. His superhearing locked onto a familiar heartbeat, buried miles beneath the earth. Deep under an abandoned military facility, the same one tied to Project Firestorm, John Johns waited. Superman landed hard, smashing through steel and concrete, until he reached a glowing chamber lined with containment pylons. At its center, suspended in emerald light, stood John, his body covered in scars of psychic strain. Enough running, Superman said, his voice echoing in the hollow chamber. Whatever you're doing, stop it. John didn't turn. I tried to warn you, Kal-El. They're not just after me. They're after you too. Superman's eyes narrowed. Who? John finally faced him, his expression weary but resolute. Project Firestorm isn't a weapon designed to kill aliens. It's designed to merge them. Superman frowned. Merge? John raised a trembling hand toward the containment device behind him, a glowing reactor pulsing with telepathic energy. They've been experimenting with alien DNA, Kryptonian and Martian alike. They want to create something new, something controllable. Superman felt his stomach drop. You mean a hybrid? John nodded. A god made in human image, built from the essence of two worlds. Superman took a slow step forward. Then we destroy it. Together. But John shook his head. It's too late. The process has already begun. Superman's heart pounded. You're saying they've already... Before he could finish, alarms blared. The chamber lights turned crimson. A deep rumble shook the ground. And from within the core of the containment device, a voice spoke, low, distorted, and powerful. We are Firestorm, born of Krypton and Mars. Superman's breath caught. Inside the core, a being emerged, radiant with both solar fire and psychic energy. Its body shimmered between red and green light, its eyes burning gold. It was neither Kryptonian nor Martian. It was both. Superman lunged forward, but the creature raised its hand, and the air itself ignited. He was thrown back through solid steel, crashing into the wall with enough force to shake mountains. John cried out, reaching through the flames with his telepathy. Stop! You're not meant to exist. We exist because you failed. Firestorm's voice roared like thunder. You hid from humanity, and he tried to rule them. We were created to surpass both. Superman stood, smoke rising from his torn cape. If you think that makes you powerful, you're wrong. You're just a weapon. Firestorm turned to him, a smile flickering across its blazing face. A weapon of evolution. Before Superman could react, the creature struck. Faster than lightning. Superman caught the blow, but the psychic force behind it sent waves through his mind. He saw visions, flashes of worlds burning, armies kneeling before a hybrid god, humans bowing in terror. John gritted his teeth, amplifying his telepathic shield. Kal-El, he's linked to both of us. If we don't act together, he'll tear this planet apart. Superman nodded once. Then let's show him what unity really means. Their minds connected, Kryptonian will and Martian telepathy fusing for the first time. The air vibrated. The fire dimmed. Firestorm's power faltered as Superman and John pressed forward, their combined strength tearing at his unstable core. You can't destroy what humanity created, Firestorm screamed. Superman's voice thundered back. Then we'll show them why they shouldn't have. With a final surge, they drove their energy into the reactor. The explosion was silent, pure light swallowing everything. When the dust settled, the facility was gone. Only a crater remained, and in its center stood Superman holding John in his arms. The Martian's form flickered weakly, his strength fading. You saved them, Superman said softly. John smiled faintly. No, Kal-El. We saved them. Superman looked up at the sky, dawn breaking once more. Then maybe humanity still has a chance. John's hand trembled. Promise me one thing. Tell them the truth about us. That we didn't come to rule. We came to protect. Superman's voice broke. I promise. The Martian's eyes dimmed. His body dissolved into green light, rising into the sky like dust returning to the stars. Superman watched until the last spark faded. Then he whispered, Rest well, brother. Days later, the world learned the truth of Project Firestorm, of a hidden war fought beneath their feet, and of a Martian hero who gave everything to protect a world not his own. And every night since, when Superman flew above the city, he could still feel a whisper in the wind. You are not alone, Kal-El. He smiled faintly, gazing toward Mars glowing faintly in the distance. Maybe he thought that was John's final gift. Not power, not warning, but understanding. Because in the end, the greatest bond between them wasn't strength. It was their shared exile. 2 aliens, 2 hearts, and 1 world worth saving.